Welcome to the Live Full, Work Fun podcast. This is the show to encourage you to live your life to the fullest and do fun work that fuels your lifestyle. Hi, I'm your host, Gayla Scrivener. Every week, you'll be introduced to amazing guests, useful resources, and inspirational stories. You'll discover opportunities and perspectives to shape your version of living full and working fun. Before we get started with the show, I have a question for you. Are you a busy solopreneur struggling to find the time to consistently post to your social accounts? Well, the Scrivener Solutions team and I are introducing Scrivener Social, the easy-to-use social media scheduling platform paired with all of our workflows. It simplifies the entire posting process, saving you time and boosting your social media marketing efforts. Here's how it works. First, you subscribe to Scrivener Social, choosing the support level that best fits your needs. Second, we have onboarding calls to help you set up your account and give you the guidance for streamlining your posting process. Third, you implement your plan using our workflows to get more out of your social media marketing. Now, you could continue to do it alone, being frustrated and feeling guilty that you never get around to posting to your social accounts for your small business. Or you could save time, energy, and frustration by using an easy-to-use social scheduling platform backed by a support team that helps you streamline the whole process. You deserve a system that makes posting to your social media faster and more efficient. Go to scrivenersocial.com and subscribe today. Now, on to the show. Hi there and welcome. This is the show where we explore topics that help you create your lifestyle to live full and work fun. I'm Gayla Scrivener, joined here with my co-host, Fran Grosbeck.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I am going to just jump right into what's on my mind here. You know, Fran, you and I both have had pivotal moments in our lives where we transitioned from working in the corporate world to creating and running our own small business. Being an entrepreneur is not a requirement for living full or working fun. You know, it's not whatsoever, but because of our experiences, that's what we like to share. Some people have no desire to start their own business, but I believe that what we share in running a business, a solopreneurship, whatever we want to call it, that helps open up our minds to other opportunities and how we can have a path. You know, we can decide on what path we want to take. Speaking for myself, Fran, I never, ever, ever considered starting a business 20 years ago. And I know we were just talking off microphone that you went to school for marketing.
I did. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I'll go back to this. I knew when I was little that I wanted to own my own business. When other people were playing with Barbies and other such, I was building businesses in my basement. I ran restaurants, banks, retail stores. I had a little cash register. I made flyers. It was hysterical. And in fact, our listeners can't see this, but if you're ever on a Zoom call with me, as we are now, there's a cash register behind me in honor of that little cash register from when I was little. And I knew from that I wanted to be in business. I dreamed of having my own, but I knew it was definitely governed by that mentality of go get a job. And I originally did not apply to school for business or marketing, with something else. And I had a wonderful teacher, God bless her, said to me, Fran, you're a creative soul. Why don't you go check out one of these schools for marketing? And I did, and I fell in love with it. And I've been doing it now 30 plus years, and it is the best decision I ever made.
And you've worked for other companies up until fairly recently. And now you run a small business like mine. We have a small team. I consider myself still a solopreneur, even though we have a team. And I like it that way. There's just so much that we can pivot. We can just use that creative juice and help other small businesses or large businesses with what we do. But here's a little something for me. Way back when I went to college, I did start my major as marketing. And I then convinced myself in my first year, well, I can't sell anything. I need to change my major. And I just went into to general business and got my degree. But at the time, I was in the medical field and I was doing medical billing and things like that. And I just thought, I can't do that. And then fast forward 20 years and I positioned myself in starting a work from anywhere type of business because that's what my primary goal was. I did not want to be tied down geographically and find a new job every time I wanted to move, or I just wanted to be nomadic, right? How can I create that lifestyle? So I created my own business. And I started out with general administration stuff. And look at where I got into. I'm in marketing. Oh my gosh. And the reason why I wanted to talk about marketing, and that's what we do. But I think as small business owners, and when we apply marketing for our own business, even though I think it's easier to help others with their marketing and their sales. But I wanted to go over today the difference between marketing and sales. Why it's so important to get, what should we start first? What should we, as just starting out as a solopreneur, or maybe you've been in a small business for quite some time and you're scrappy, you've got a few clients, but it's hard. It's hard because income is all over the place. It's feast or famine. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on today, Fran. What do you think?
I love this topic, Gayla, for a couple of reasons. One is when we first started talking about this, some people gloss over when they hear the word marketing. They go, oh, I know how to do this. Or, oh, that's such a broad topic. And the other side is some marketing people, when they hear the word sales, go, I'm not a salesperson. And there's this controversy or cloud that sometimes hovers over these two words. And I want to free them of this cloud and really enjoy and celebrate both. The other side of it is you can't have one without the other. They go hand in hand. You can ask 10 different people the question, and I'm sure that you will, just like getting your taxes done, get 10 different results. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to talk about today is where, from our experience, and we welcome others to share their experience and their definitions. We have the Facebook group and other places, but what we share today is from our standpoint. And again, you can't have one without the other. We're going to talk about the definitions in a moment, but I want to send out this one other caution, and you just touched on it. If you are listening to us as a small business owner or trying to get a side hustle off the ground, I want you to write this lesson down. At the first sign of trouble, at the first sign that things aren't going so well and sales aren't where they aren't supposed to be, do not cut your marketing budget. It is the number one rule you should live by in running a business. It is the worst step you could do. Marketing leads to the sales. Marketing generates. There are other ways to cut. There are other ways to cut back, or also just don't panic. Sometimes those little blips in the financial radar are there for a reason. And they're there for you to adapt your plans, adapt your approach. But the worst thing you could do is stop or cut off that marketing flow. And this will lead us into what marketing and sales do and how they go hand in hand. And for me, in the short version, marketing is planting the seed and establishing and growing connection. And sales is making that final push through to the business end of the deal. That is you've established connection. Now we're going to make that all powerful final connection between the two of us and complete the deal. And in sales, there's connection. And in marketing, there's sales. But really, marketing is about planting that seed. And I loved the word you used off my cultivating connection. And then sales is that ultimate making the final deal.
Yes. You had mentioned that if you are dry up, don't panic, keep marketing. But also as a solopreneur, sometimes things are so great and you have too many clients that you know what to do with. And then you stop marketing or you stop your process, and then clients go away or, their projects are done. If you stop your marketing process, you can't cycle in new business. You're toast. It's really about a cadence. And what I love about marketing, whether you're a big business or a small business, you can adjust the faucet, so to speak. There was a period of time, it's like for Scrivener Solutions, I said, hey, let's pull way back on social. Let's just kind of go a little, not dormant, but just pull way back on our posts because we were full client-wise and we are in research and development for a new product line type thing. And I think that's the beauty of it. You can turn the faucet, but you don't necessarily should not stop altogether, because then you're going to be scrambling when you need the business. And you have to, it's not that you're starting all over, but kind of you are.
Faucet is a perfect analogy. It's why we have a term in our field, drip campaigns. Drip campaigns are for a reason. And the idea of a faucet is something all business owners have to remember. Actually, even in life, if there's something you're trying to accomplish or do, it's okay that some days that faucet is on a little bit more and some days you got to pull it back, but never turn it completely off if there's something you're trying to accomplish. It's those drips of water that make a difference, right? And the difference is the faucet represents the plan and the strategy. You have to have that in place. Many people, especially this time of year, start to think about what I'm going to do next year, what I'm going to do coming up, and they panic. They quickly try to put a marketing plan together. Actually, that can happen at any time of the year. So, oh my gosh, I need to do something. Let me throw this together. Good marketing plans are not thrown together. Good marketing plans are thought out, written, rewritten, edited, strategy, and there is purpose to each step. Even the simplest email blast string, say a series of 4 or 5 emails, there's thought, there's connection, there's intention. There's also science behind some of it, depending on whether it be layout and flow and the way the eye reads the page or the content and how to connect the message. That faucet needs to be in place. And then you turn it on and off as you need it. I've always said that marketing requires patience, persistence, and momentum. And you can't have it without the 3. That's the magic 3, because it's the patience to let it take root. It's the persistence to keep at it and making sure you're doing it monthly and revisiting your strategy on a regular basis, and momentum that once things get going, you know how to work that faucet.
With marketing, let's roll up our sleeves and get practical. I believe that that's kind of the first thing. I mean, you have to identify, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And when I first started, I came out of the medical field and then I was going to do something completely different. I was nervous. I didn't know people, right? I was like, all I know are the people that work in the medical industry. Well, I don't want to be in that industry. How on earth am I going to find a client? And I was so wishy-washy on what I wanted to do. I just went out and I was like, I have a business name and it's so generic. I mean, Scrivener Solutions, Scrivener being my last name, and Solutions, I can figure things out. What can I do for you? I knew the first thing that I needed to do was to meet people and to stick my neck out and do that. So the first thing that I did was networking, face-to-face networking. And I think that is super important nowadays, and especially since the pandemic, when there's so much more virtual events and virtual things, and so many more people are comfortable with getting on a Zoom call or on Microsoft Teams, whatever that may be, and having networking events. But belonging to a group that met on a consistent basis and that had attendance requirements kind of over your head a little bit, really, I think is beneficial for a period of time. But that was my first marketing attempt, because that gave a cadence. And I think that marketing has to do with communicating the same message over and over to shape who you are and what you can do for people to help them, to earn the like, know, and trust aspect in people's minds. So when other people know, like, and trust you, they'll do business with you if they fit the problem that you solve. They may not fit the problem that you solve, but they may know somebody who does. So referrals are really big. But it took that consistency, and I think that that is really key. In that networking group, I became known in that group. And that was a group, and ironically, it was in a geographical place, but that's how the only thing I knew is that I needed to meet people. And I did. And I was with that group for several years. Even though I wanted to work from anywhere, I was able to still do that in my own way. But that gave me the footing. And that was my very, very first attempt in marketing.
I'll go one before that. What you did was really important. There's a step before that that businesses need to do and can be hard. And you and I know, because we help each other on our sides. You have to take a moment and figure out who you are.
Yes. And I made a huge mistake because I didn't know.
And we evolve, and that's okay. We evolve and change. I'm evolving from where I thought I would be or what I was going to do. I'm about to evolve even more in the coming months. But you have to get clear on what that is, and asking someone to help you. And it's not necessarily, yes, you could hire someone like us to help you, but you could also just bounce it off the people you know and trust. Because getting clear on your message and your why and your values and your beliefs and all that stuff is so important, because when you get to this step of marketing and you get to this step of, I'm ready to go to face-to-face networking. I'm ready to start designing my flyers. I'm ready to start putting my message on a website. I'm ready to start doing social. You need to know who you are, what you stand for, and what problems you solve. And the only way you'll do that is by getting clear on that. And once you're clear on that, the best marketing, and this was told to me by a professor, and it has stuck with me all my career, the best marketing is simple and true. When you are clear on who you are, what you want to accomplish, what your goals are, what your values, what your beliefs, what your tone, what your voice, any one or all of those things, but just getting clear on who you are, the marketing will flow. Because now it's just your personal experience, whether it be from your heart or your passion or whatever is the why behind why you're doing it, it will just flow. And marketing for the people helping you will be easier because you're both clear on what the message is. It will also create quicker and better connection, because whether we like to think about it or not, the brain is a computer, and what we do in marketing is trying to simplify the connection with all those computers out there that we want to reach. And we want to plant those seeds, which in biological terms is called the reticular activator. It's a real thing that the brain does. It's like a filing card. I joked earlier, Gayla, that in our generation, that would be like a Rolodex. And in our generation, it would be more like, think about a computer RAM block that as you put more information in there, the computer's got to dump some out to hold on to the new information. And it's same with our brains. So we want to keep creating the connection to keep that company, that business, that thought front of mind in our key audience. Well, if the message is too complicated, the brain isn't going to absorb it right, or it might absorb the wrong part of the message. It might absorb, wow, they were really confusing. I don't want to deal with that, or I don't understand their message. And it forms a negative reticular activator. We want to keep positive seeds being planted. And you do that by being clear and simple and true in what you're saying. You don't have to force it when you know your message and you know who you are.
Marketing being simple and true. I love that. This just came to mind, and I wasn't even going to mention this. I am doing some events once a month. I'm doing virtual events. It's about messaging. And one of them is about creating your one-liner or your elevator speech. And it's a little workshop, and that they're all virtual. Another one is about crafting your message and why story is important in your message and how you can position yourself as a guide helping the hero of the story, your client or your potential client, and doing that. So I'm super excited that in 2024 that I'm doing these monthly events. I'll have links to those in the show notes. Some of them are free, and the workshop is just a small amount, but I think taking the time to get that messaging down, understanding yourself first, you just go leaps and bounds. You could take the path that I did, and just a lot slower and a lot more painful. But you see, Fran, you've had all of that experience in marketing. You applied it right away to your business. I was the one that said, I can't sell anything. Well, if we're going to create our own business, we need to learn how to do that. And you don't have to sell things or market yourself in a slimy way. It is true, it is simple, and it can be authentic, because businesses are created to solve problems. In our way, we solve a sliver of someone's problem in growing their business. Oh, and I wanted to put in a plug. I invite all of our listeners to grab Donald Miller's book, How to Grow a Small Business. In that book, he likens marketing to the right and left engines of an airplane. He has the whole business operations for the parts of an airplane. And I think the way that it is written is in a way that is easily digestible, and that it translates very well with how you, Fran, explain growing a business and how you coach your clients in growing a business, cultivating and growing and soaring in a business. Donald Miller has a small business flight school. And if I had that, like 12 years ago when I started my business, I would tell you I would have probably got out of the gate a little faster. But I'm risk adverse type person, which is kind of ironic because a lot of people think that I just go after and am a risky person because our nomadic lifestyle and adventure seeking type things. But I am not one to jump out of the plane or whatever. I walk steady, I guess you could say.
I think we both walk steady, but I do think, and this goes back to when we talked about willingness warriors, we have this moment where there's this faith or trust, whether it be in ourselves and or our teams or the people around us, and we go, we're going to jump. I'm going to jump. Mm-hmm. But we didn't do it like, oh, let's just jump. It was built on these steps of trust and work in the journey. And you just get to this point where you know, okay, it's time. And you take a jump. Sometimes you don't land exactly how you thought.
Yeah.
But it's, you could travel down that road of risk in a more cautious, thoughtful way.
Hey guys, thanks for being here with us today. I'm popping in here to let you know that Fran and my conversation went even deeper, that touched on key elements of a great marketing plan and much more. The continuation will be shared next week, so be sure to tune in. And in the meantime, hop over to Facebook and post what your biggest takeaway from today's show was in the Live Full, Work Fun Facebook group. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, have a fantastic week. Live full, work fun. This episode has been brought to you by Scrivener Social, the easy-to-use social scheduling platform built for the busy solopreneur. You deserve a system that makes posting to your social media faster and more efficient. Go to scrivenersocial.com and subscribe today.